Early in his 22nd letter, Screwtape addresses some of the demonic gamesmanship, in which Wormwood has seemingly been engaged. As we've seen before, familial relationships are a little different in hell than they are in heaven, or even on earth.
You may be interested to learn that the little misunderstanding with the secret police which you tried to raise about some unguarded expressions in one of my letters has been tided over. If you were reckoning on that to secure my good offices, you will find yourself mistaken. You shall pay for that as well as for your other blunders. Meanwhile, I enclose a little booklet just issued on the new House of Correction for Incompetent Tempters. It is profusely illustrated, and you will not find a dull page in it.
The threats and discipline concluded, Screwtape moves on to the business of Wormwood's patient, who has apparently met a girl.
So your man is in love, and in the worst kind he could possibly have fallen into, and with a girl who does not even appear in the report you sent me. I have looked up this girl's dossier and am horrified at what I find. Not only a Christian, but such a Christian. A vile, sneering, simpering, demure, monosyllabic, mouse-like, watery, insignificant, virginal bread-and-butter miss. The little brute, she makes me vomit. She stinks and scalds through the very pages of the dossier.
Don't you hope that when the devils read your dossier, they have the same ranting and raving reaction? I do.
It drives me mad, the way the world has worsened. We'd have had her to the arena in the old days. That's what her sort is made for. Not that she'd do much good there either. A two-faced little cheat, I know this sort, who looks as if she'd faint at the sight of blood, and then dies with a smile. A cheat every way. Looks as if butter wouldn't melt in her mouth, and yet has a satirical wit. The sort of creature who'd find me funny. Filthy, insipid little prude, and yet ready to fall into this booby's arms like any other breeding animal. Why doesn't the enemy blast her for it, if he's so moonstruck by virginity, instead of looking on there, grinning?
It's interesting to think of God grinning at our physical expressions of love. The devils are repulsed by sex because, being completely spiritual creatures, they are disgusted by us. Spiritual and physical hybrids. Not so God. And Screwtape is disgusted by God's attitude. He has expressed this several times before. He here accuses God of being
a hedonist at heart. All those fasts and vigils and stakes and crosses are only a facade, or only like foam on the seashore. Out at sea, out at his sea, there is pleasure, and more pleasure. He makes no secret of it. At his right hand are pleasures forevermore. Ugh, I don't think he has the least inkling of that high and austere mystery to which we rise at the miserific vision. He's vulgar, Wormwood. He has a bourgeois mind. He has filled his world full of pleasures.
The beatific vision is the direct, eternal, and joyous vision of God as he truly is, experienced by the blessed in heaven. The miserific vision is its opposite. It's severe and austere. God's joy and delight with our experience of pleasure is too base for the severe and dignified Screwtape. He accuses God of vulgarity, just because he put all kinds of natural physical pleasures into our lives.
There are things for humans to do all day long without his minding in the least. Sleeping, washing, eating, drinking, making love, playing, praying, working. Everything has to be twisted before it's any use to us. We fight under cruel disadvantages. Nothing is naturally on our side. Not that that excuses you. I'll settle with you presently. You have always hated me and have been insolent when you dared.
When God made us and put us into the world, he blessed us with all kinds of natural good things. And these are a big problem for the devils. The things Screwtape has listed here are not neutral, raw materials that can be directed toward either good or evil. They are inherently good from the start. So the devils have to do some significant twisting to even start making use of any of them for the purposes of hell. Screwtape goes on talking about the patient.
Then, of course, he gets to know the woman's family and the whole circle. Could you not see that the very house she lives in is one that he ought never to have entered? The whole place reeks of that deadly odor. The very gardener, though he has only been there 5 years, is beginning to acquire it. Even guests, after a weekend visit, carry some of the smell away with them. The dog and the cat are tainted with it.
The idea that our lives perfume spaces and the people that enter them is intriguing to me. It's a metaphor, of course, but this is the thing. It's a wonderful picture of the truth that God's people, when we are doing it right, will radiate something attractive to everyone, except demons. It will even rub off on cats and fill physical spaces. Screwtape goes on to describe this effect in the physical space of the girl's home.
and the house is full of the impenetrable mystery. We are certain, it is a matter of first principles, that each member of the family must in some way be making capital out of the others, but we can't find out how. They guard as jealously as the enemy himself the secret of what really lies behind this pretense of disinterested love. The whole house and garden is one vast obscenity. It bears a sickening resemblance to the description one human writer made of heaven, the regions where there is only life, and therefore all that is not music is silence.
Again, the stumbling block for the demonic. They can't accept the existence of selfless love. And then something really important for our age. The quote comes from George MacDonald. The regions where there is only life, and therefore all that is not music is silence. Music and silence here are presented as the qualities of a life aligned with heaven. Hell has different ideas.
Music and silence. How I detest them both. How thankful we should be that ever since our father entered hell, though longer ago than humans, reckoning in light years could express, no square inch of infernal space and no moment of infernal time has been surrendered to either of those abominable forces, but all has been occupied by noise. Noise, the grand dynamism, the audible expression of all that is exultant, ruthless, and virile. Noise which alone defends us from silly qualms, despairing scruples, and impossible desires. We will make the whole universe a noise in the end. We have already made great strides in this direction. As regards the earth, the melodies and silences of heaven will be shouted down in the end. But I admit that we are not yet loud enough, or anything like it. Research is in progress.
I think the devils have made great progress in making our lives a lot noisier since Lewis's day. I think Screwtape would probably detest most of the music that we listen to, but he would rejoice in the fact that it's continuously on in our cars and run directly into our skulls. It's the constancy of our music that slides it over into the noise category. Noise is not just auditory, it's visual as well, and we live in an extremely noisy world. The demons love noise because it prevents thought and reflection. Noise creates confusion and distraction. It inhibits true connection with others, and it stresses us out. It deprives us of the pleasures of life. Our lives don't have enough silence. This letter ends in a very interesting way. In mid-sentence, Screwtape's writing stops, and another hand takes over.
Meanwhile, you disgusting little...
In the heat of composition, I find I have inadvertently allowed myself to assume the form of a large centipede. I am accordingly dictating the rest to my secretary. Now that the transformation is complete, I recognize it as a periodical phenomenon. Some rumor of it has reached the humans, and a distorted account of it appears in the poet Milton, with the ridiculous addition that such changes of shape are a punishment imposed on us by the enemy. A more modern writer, someone with a name like Pshaw, has however grasped the truth. Transformation proceeds from within and is a glorious manifestation of that life force, which our father would worship if he worshipped anything but himself. In my present form, I feel even more anxious to see you, to unite you to myself in an insoluble embrace. Signed, Toadpipe, for his abysmal sublimity, Undersecretary, Screwtape, TEBS, etc.
Screwtape has had to dictate the final paragraph of his letter because of an inadvertent transformation. Here he refers to two writers, John Milton, who wrote Paradise Lost, which includes a description of Satan's banishment to hell, and George Bernard Shaw, who wrote plays about significant personal transformations, all arising from the life force drive within humans to evolve and to improve. In the form of a large carnivorous centipede, Screwtape is eager to meet up with Wormwood, no doubt to consume him. This would remove the threat that Wormwood represents to Screwtape's position, and it's consistent with the whole philosophy of hell. That's the 22nd letter. Join me in the 23rd, where a restored Screwtape explains how the devils use Christianity itself as the means to lead Christians away from the true faith. Thank you, and we'll see you there.